Well, good morning, listeners, subscribers. Neil, welcome. We're in the inner sanctum here at Tauranga Racecourse. This is the room where the Stipes adjourn on race day, so we're in hallowed territory. Do you feel a bit humbled to be in such prestigious surroundings?
I do. I was just thinking, this is where Opie Bosson would have come into 20 years ago.
20 years ago today, Kiwi Fruit Cup, world famous. Probably all for the wrong reasons, not like last week where Aaron Kuru was world famous for the right reasons.
Amazing, wasn't it? Absolutely amazing.
Unbelievable.
I missed the race. I was down at the beach with a dog and someone texted me and said, "Oh, did you see that?" I said, "No." So I shot back and had it on my sky. Unbelievable. To actually come physically away from the horse but still in contact with it. It was an amazing feat, wasn't it? Balance and agility.
And the horse though.
Yeah.
People say that horses don't want to do what they're doing. That horse was straight up and wanting to get straight back into that race, and clearly took no ill effect from the fall. Won the race. You'd have to say it's got a future as a steeplechaser, that horse.
Yeah, I think so. And he was travelling so well, wasn't he? With 600 metres to go, you'd think this horse is going to win, and he did. It was great.
Good to see racing get a bit of mainstream media coverage in a positive light.
Yeah, it's all over the world too.
Amazing.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well done to Aaron Kuru.
Yeah. I'll have to shake his hand one day. It was just brilliant. Yeah.
The jumps racing, the two features, Game Percy took out the steeples, we'll cover that later on. If I Tell, dominant in the hurdles, travelled peaches and cream to the turn, and you knew it was basically race over once Kuru got her out into the clear, beating Kip Kano, who in turn beat Pukeaki Sam.
Yes, quite easily. So I owe you a chocolate fish.
Thank you very much.
Haven't got it on me.
That's
I had
okay.
it this morning, but I'll get you another one this afternoon. How's that?
No problem.
Good. Okay.
We won't talk too much about the rugby. That was a disgrace.
I think you've mentioned enough already, actually, about the rugby.
We're
It's past.
we're banning rugby for this week. No
Yeah.
more talk about rugby after Saturday. I don't blame the ref. I blame the rule book.
Yep.
Didn't help at all. That's enough. Less said about the All Black game,
Yep.
the better.
Let's
Let's
get
move on to the racing.
Yeah. Good race. Actually, great fields tomorrow, aren't they? Not big fields, but good quality fields, and I've been through them thoroughly. And there's a few there that I do like. So let's kick off in the Kiwi Fruit Cup, shall we?
Indeed. You've got last year's winner, Pacorus. Last year's runner-up, Do I Know You, heading the field. Couple of local hopes, Roger That and Adriatic Pearl. You got a visitor from New Plymouth, hard to be humble, but I think you've found something else to beat them all.
Yeah, well, I've walked that track, and there's no disadvantage of being near the rail, especially in the first 3 or 4 races at least, and I can't see it really going off by race 6 or 7. So there's 2 horses in this race that should lead, Joe Cargo and Rodrigo, just share the pace, tick along. I can't see anything maybe moving mid-race, except maybe for Pacorus, who might get caught wide and may not want to carry 60 kgs and press forward and maybe get second out like he did last year, didn't he? Got
He
caught
did,
wide.
and then took over at the 500 and
Yeah.
was basically race over by
Lost
about
it
the
in,
400.
So it sets up for an on-pace runner, obviously.
Yes.
So Rodrigo, I think, just ticks all those boxes. 54.5 kgs. He ran second in the Queensland Cup. Didn't like Hong Kong
Derby.
environment.
Queensland Derby
What did I say?
Cup.
Cup. Queensland Derby. Yeah. And I think third up, Baker Forsman trained. Matt Cameron suits the horse ideally.
Star track worker at Cambridge on Tuesday. Do you ever get up early and head over to Cambridge and watch them work?
No, must do.
Leave that to me then.
Definitely. So you concur with?
I do. Rodrigo was my first pick in the race book. I think he's a pretty high class galloper who definitely, even Murray Baker will admit, escaped the handicappers' notice in the rating he got when he came back from Hong Kong. Impressive first up at Hara. Solid enough at Te Rapa, that track, as we know.
Yeah.
Doesn't always suit all horses, as we saw with Big Mike and the big
That's
form
right.
reversal last week. Rodrigo on top for me. I do like Do I Know You, third in the Winter Cup, if you recall. Last year, pretty good horse. Won well last time, and I think that'd be the main danger, but definitely Rodrigo on top, especially at the weights.
I see he's come in from 450 to 420, so
That's after
Money's
your bet.
money's come in for him, so you think he has to be a realistic chance. But of course, 60 kgs.
Stepping up from 1400 to 2100 too.
Yeah, and that track is going to be
Certainly no worse than last year. 116 Art Deco ran for 1200 last year. If you remember this meeting last year, there was heavy rain on the Thursday, Friday morning. There was consideration. The Stipes came down Friday afternoon to walk the track to see if it was safe. It was. It was basically as bad as it will get. We've had dry weather since basically Tuesday night. It'll be a heavy 10, and I reckon 114 and a half for 1200.
I think you're about 0.1 of a second off, but I'll give you that. I think you're pretty well spot on there, yeah.
So it won't be too bad. So again, has to question mark Pecoris. I mean, if it won tomorrow, it's a $4 favourite, turning around a 27 length last at its last start to winning.
Yeah.
Stepping up 700 metres would be an amazing performance for mine.
Yeah, Rodrigo does look the one. Now, fillies and mares race.
The Woburn Farm Tauranga Classic.
Woburn
Wait for age. We've got to get our new sponsors a plug. You couldn't get 5 better horses really lining up. They've been targeting this race, I think, with all 5 of them for a couple of months now, and they're all here, all in pretty good nick.
Yeah.
It's going to be a top race. Which of the 5 can you see taking it out? We're talking numbers 1 through 5, obviously.
Well, it's a nice race because you've got Rich Billy Marsh, haven't you? You know where she's going to
Guaranteed
be.
pacemaker.
Going to be in the lead, and New York Minute's going to be, she's drawn 2, is going to be trailing. Rich Billy Marsh, he doesn't go as hard, or she doesn't go as hard as she used to, so I think it's going to be an even tempo. So a horse like New York Minute's going to sit in behind, get a nice tuck in, and get every chance to get out and win. Under the Moonlight, I can see settling 4th or 5th, so it's going to be a nice evenly run race, and the best mare should win. New York Minute ran 2nd Under the Moonlight last year. A completely different track. Under the Moonlight had the blinkers going on last year, and she won well. I still think she can beat New York Minute, but it does depend on how the track is playing in the day. I think it will be an on-pace bias, probably still by this race. I can see those 2 fighting it out.
They Quinella it last year.
That's right.
They'll Quinella it again this year as well, I think. I'll go 3 on top of 1. You're leaning towards the 1.
Oh, definitely. I think she's a horse that responds really well to the whip. You wouldn't see a better horse that responds better to the whip. And I think Cameron Lamis knows that. And when he taps her a few times, she just gives everything. And I think in the last 100 metres, you'll see her. If she's within a length of New York Minute, I reckon
She'll run her down.
she'll run her down. Yeah. So good race. Deals and heels at the weight. She couldn't. Art Deco could be just a class too much for her at this stage. But
Tom Alila worked pretty well on Tuesday morning for those who are interested. Probably worked better than Deals and Heels. So
that one draw could come in handy too.
I'd be 3, 1 and 2. You could play around those 3, you'd be pretty close to it. The other 2 features at Tauranga tomorrow. For all the other good info, other previews, might have a sneaky from Australia.
Yep.
They'll all be online for the subscribers, the paying faithful. What else we got to talk about? We're not talking about sports. Why don't we get on to our brickbat?
Okay. Well, before we mention that, can we mention the Punters Club?
Oh, the Punters Club.
Yeah, looking
Oh,
forward
yeah.
to
Have
it.
we got any money in there?
We have.
Good.
Yeah. We and the Punters Challenge tomorrow as well. So it's going to be a big day of punting tomorrow with our Punters Club. On-course patrons can enter, and also subscribers. You would have seen the link on there. I think we've got close to $1,000.
You normally get about 4,000 or 5,000 to play with. So, and I can see race 7 is the last race Neil can bet in the Punters Club. From races 3 to 7, I can sense an all-in type of bet coming.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Definitely.
You've got the keys to the club, so you can do whatever you like, mate.
That sounds good. A little party. Good party. Now, brickbats and bouquets.
Here we go. You're going to enjoy this, watchers.
I think last week I mentioned the whip roll, or a couple of weeks ago I mentioned the whip roll. Last Saturday at Awapuni, I was on a horse called Joking.
We both were.
Yep. And exactly. And Game Percy, even before the last fence, was being hit by Sean Fannin with a full whip action from the top to the bottom. And the horse responded well, especially in the last few strides when ridden that way. He got fined for breaching the whip roll, which you cannot do.
Show us what was he doing?
Bend
Let's
over
do
and
it.
I'll show-
Oh, here we go.
Remember your days of being caned at secondary school? When I got caned at secondary school, hang on now, the teacher used to come in with a backhand. Okay, you got it there?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, come on. It didn't even hurt. How was that?
Ah,
Right out. Now, if I go to the full length whip action, you watch what happens. Did you feel that? Jeez, I heard that. I think he felt
I
it.
am not getting paid enough to do this job.
I won't do it anymore. I want to see you suffer too much. Look like you're enjoying it though.
I can't say whether I enjoyed it or not.
Don't try this at home, you might like it. Right. Now, there's a big difference, isn't there? And the sound, and also, they don't really hurt the horses too much from what I've been told from riders, but the sound and just the difference in the feeling on the whip on the horse has to respond better. And that horse definitely responded really well, especially on his last few strides. There's no grounds for connections to protest at the moment.
Correct. I had a long conversation with the JCA
Good.
at Te Teko races on Friday actually. They would have no problem with being able to adjudicate
Good.
on a case-by-case basis for breaches of that, and whether the breach was sufficient that should see the decision overturned. Say, if a horse won by 6 lengths and the rider only breached the whip rule by 1 or 2 strikes, of course they're not going to change the result. In our case of our friend Mr. Chowdhury
Yep.
at Avondale,
That's right.
clearly breached it, margin wasn't too much, they probably would have changed the result. So, listeners, viewers, I'm going to approach NZTR and ask for them to review that rule.
Good.
It has to come via NZTR, then the JCA merely follow the process. Once the rule is changed, they can only do what they do based on the rules. So at our next conference call with NZTR, I'll be raising that and suggest they seriously look at changing that rule before a Viennetta case. You remember Viennetta in the Breeders' Stakes? Back then the rule was you
That's
only had to
right.
prove that a horse stopped you from finishing closer than you did.
That's right.
So Viennetta won by a couple of lengths. The third horse got beaten by the second horse by about a nose. They successfully argue that Viennetta cut off the third horse. So back then the rules were Viennetta got put back to third, the second horse went to first, and the third horse went to second. Caused an uproar. The rule then got changed. Why do we have to wait for something to go wrong before we change the
Yeah.
rules? Change it before something
Yeah.
happens in a Group 1 race where a rider deliberately breaks the rules, wins by a nose, and there's nothing that can be done. Change it before
Yep.
it happens, not after.
It's the P word. Be proactive rather than reactive.
Perfectly
Simple as that,
said.
isn't it?
Perfectly said.
Okay. Let's see what happens with that. Maybe
I'll keep you
a
posted.
few months' time, 2 or 3 months' time, hopefully. Now, last week we had the question.
The question. Ah, yes, our friend Kip Kano. He only ran second, but he did not run second at the 1968 Olympics.
No, definitely not.
He won the 1500 metres.
That's right.
And it looks like we've got 13 people
Yep.
who got
A
the
lot.
correct answer. So we're going to pick one name out of those.
You can pick it.
I can pick it. Well,
And they get 2 months free Form Pro sub. If you're already a subscriber, you get added to your
added,
subscription.
and you'll be very happy.
Millie,
Millie.
well done. Mr.
Is it-
Milbank.
Ah, beautiful.
Yeah, he'll be happy.
Millie, well
Yep.
done.
So I'll add that to your sub, Millie.
What are we going to give away this week?
Oh, I don't know. Give the question first and I'll think
Okay.
of something.
Pretty easy question. Process of elimination. We opened the show touching on the watch officer incident. 20 years ago, Opie Bosson stopped riding watch officer in the shadows of the post. Well, it wasn't really the shadows, it was about 100 metres out. And got nabbed right on the line by a horse called Kwa Sin. The question though is, on that race, Saturday, June the 20th, 1988, the Kiwifruit Cup was worth $16,250.
Yep.
There is a jockey who rode in that race, rode a horse called Tangarakau in the 1998 Kiwifruit Cup that is riding in tomorrow's Kiwifruit Cup. Now, we just need to know the name of that jockey who rode Tangarakau and is riding also tomorrow, a horse in the Cup. Get your answers to Neil by text or email by Monday night.
Yeah, Monday night. I'm just thinking of the prize. Yeah, that'll be fine because the prize will be not only will you get a 1 month free Form Pro sub, you'll get a 1 month free Form Pro rating sub, and if you're lucky and behave yourself, you might get a free whipping from the money shop for half an hour.
Perfect. That comes with
Something
extra
like-
charge. What's second prize? An hour's whipping with the money shop?
An hour. Crikey, Dick. Okay, nothing else we can mention. We've got a great day of racing tomorrow. I'm really looking
The
forward
weather
to
will
that.
be good.
Yep.
Track
forecast is great.
only been raced on once in the last 5 months. That's in pretty good nick. Hey, good spread of horses actually. Quite a few coming from the CD, a couple from Taranaki,
Yeah.
a couple from one from Hastings. So should give everyone a chance to make $1. You got something
Definitely.
to say?
No,
We've been kicked out.
not just about.
yet.
We're going to wrap it up pretty quickly. So hopefully we set the races tomorrow. I know a few subscribers are coming out. Good day for making money, and let's all hope we do that. And looking forward to a really good day of racing. I love the Tauranga racecourse.
If you get the Punters Club a $40 return again tomorrow,
Fingers crossed.
will you do a cartwheel in the birdcage?
I'll do two.
Two cartwheels in the birdcage during the presentation. As the presentation for the Woburn Farm Tauranga
Yep.
Classic is going on,
Yep.
you'll sneak round the back and do two cartwheels while the
Yep.
presentation is
Yep.
going on.
And you can pay
Deal?
Deal. You can
Not
pay,
a streak, cartwheels with your clothes on.
you can pay the osteopath bill later on. Anyway, good punting everybody, and catch you next week.
See ya.